4:13 says, thy best days are ahead of thee.
I don't think I've ever really met somebody who is the guy in a video game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Once I saw it all put together, and I still haven't seen or played the whole game all the way through, but I've seen about 30, 40 minutes of gameplay. I'm like, oh.
It's impressive.
I love you. I love you. I love you. We were running, running with the night.
That sounds good.
1980s synthesizers.
Yeah, I can fire that up a little bit.
A little Lionel Richie.
Right? Do a little something over here. Do you play instruments?
I dabble. Guitar I dabble with.
Yeah?
Yeah. I need to get back onto playing and like work my calluses back up and get that muscle strength going. But
yeah, when I shed that layer of skin, I always feel guilty, like, oh, I'm not playing enough.
It's like not wearing a condom.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What am I doing?
I don't have no protection.
This is rough.
And it hurts. It hurts so bad.
It really does.
But when I first moved out, I was playing a lot of guitar, acoustic, and wrote a few songs.
Really?
Surprisingly enough, got really faded one night. I was having a bad night in L.A., and like, who hasn't
bad nights in LA? I've never heard of that.
What? In the early 2000s, this place was Mecca. And wrote a couple songs, and one of them was like a country western song that came out. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
But it channeled through in 15 minutes.
Really?
The whole thing.
It just poured out of you.
It poured out lyrics, verses, chorus, bridge out, and I went back and read
recorded, mixed, mastered, all in 15. Yeah,
platinum sold, and wow. I was like, God damn, I'm a hit, and it was crazy. I went back and listened to it and checked it out, and I went, I have no idea why this song came to me, but at some point in this career of mine, I'm going to get to use it, and I will not be surprised if it's the thing that, or one of the things that gets me some kind of ridiculous recognition.
Yeah.
I've yet to use it. It's a great song. It's going to piss people off.
Okay.
It's just going to, there's a certain segment of the population that's going to piss off. And I'm okay with that. I really am. But it's called 3 Red Packs.
3 Red Packs.
And a bottle of Jack.
3 Red Packs. I mean, that sounds like a hit country song.
That sounds like a country ass song, right?
It's
pretty damn good.
Okay.
I was surprised.
All right.
One of these days I'm going to actually put it out.
Well, you used to be in a gospel choir, didn't you?
I did, and that's one of the reasons why this song, people are going to be like, wait a minute, didn't you used to be? It was at a point in time in my development spiritually where I was at a crossroads, clashing with what I was raised on.
Yeah.
And beginning to explore a different way of looking at that.
Yeah. Well, how religious did you grow up? If you're in a gospel choir, probably fairly religious.
Fairly like 80% religious, you know.
Yeah, I like the percentage.
80%.
80% of the time, you
80%
know?
of the time I was like all in.
Yeah.
But I was never the one that was so all in that I just was like, that I adhered to all of the self-limiting rules that existed in religion, in the Southern Baptist upbringing. I kind of always was the one that, this was me. I would get done with gospel choir rehearsal, and then it would be about 9:00 on maybe a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, I think it was. And I was a dude that I would be walking out, like hugging folks and saying, oh, that was a great rehearsal. I can't wait until Sunday. It's going to be amazing. Reach in my pocket, break out my hoop earrings, pop them in, and my homie would pick me up and we'd go hit the club.
Okay. Yep.
So, like, I was there for the Lord. I was, but at the same time,
it was moving through me.
It was moving through me, but then there were also some hoes at the
that
club.
had to be dealt with.
Right. You know, some Jezebels at the club that need to be dealt with.
Yeah, exactly.
So I had to go.
They needed me.
I had to serve the people. To inspire them. And so I was always finding myself on that fine line of trying to live sanctified, holy life, but at the same time, trying to live a whole life and have fun.
Right.
And Fun won out for the most part, but there's always been a program in the back of my mind, kind of keeping me on course. I'm more on course now than I ever have been.
Did you ever show up to church slightly hungover? Girl, don't get me started.
Did I? Yeah, I mean, I probably get like if we have a thunderstorm. Was hair of
the dog at that point.
There are a few times that I show up and be like, yeah, I need that wine. The crackers in wine. Let me get the.
Let me soak this up a little bit.
Let me get the wine.
Yeah.
Hair of the dog.
You're eating all the crackers.
It's bad. But I was 20. That was what 21 through 30. I stopped. Yeah, I stopped going at right around 30. Because I was like, you know what? Let me just go live my life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Whatever this is, let me just go live my life and do my thing. And if I come back to it, great. If I don't, great. I always wanted to be famous. That's like I always wanted.
Even as a little kid?
No, like I always wanted.
When did it hit you?
I always wanted somehow to be big.
Right.
Like not branding. I don't understand those words then, but I always knew that I was destined to do something that was on a bigger platform.
Sure.
And so when I was in this gospel choir, I was always like, man, we're really good. Why are we just here?
Yeah. Is nobody seeing this right now?
Y'all seeing what's cracking?
Yeah.
Like, this is great music.
Yeah.
I can direct my ass off. Mm-hmm. People, I got the whole congregation. I got people that can't stand up standing up. Right?
Yeah.
Praising and rocking and doing their thing, falling out. And I'm like, oh, okay. And having fun because I love music. I just love being a part of
what vocal register are you? You tenor?
Back then I was a tenor.
Okay.
Yeah, back then. And like when I say tenor, I mean like the Fred Hammond, Kirk Franklin tenors they hit them ridiculous notes. And I can't hit those anymore. But I'm now probably a baritone. Well, okay, wait a minute. I know this song.
Do you?
Are you making this up? Sounds familiar.
Just playing a few chords right now.
A couple chords. You got to throw some majors in there and some like 13ths. All right, now we're going to take y'all back.
Yes.
Right down to the waters of Jericho. There are no waters of Jericho, just walls. I shouldn't be playing around like this.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Woodford Reserve. I shouldn't be playing around.
I love the character of a gospel director that's slightly just a little. Yeah, just like making tweaks and stuff, but he's a little tipsy.
He's a little lit.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, congregation.
We want y'all to come together. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I had a good day. Tomorrow will be better than yesterday. Google 413 says thy best days are ahead of thee, and lo, I always love that word, and lo. I don't know where it came from, but like whenever you watch Moses or the Ten Commandments, they always use that phrase, and lo, the angel of the Lord. It was always and lo. I'm like, who's and lo?
Yeah. Lil Jon's like, but I don't know. So we say and lo.
And lo. Did we start? I feel like we might have started.
Oh no, we're in this.
We're in.
This is a free flowing, go wherever we want to.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow's Sunday, so y'all get y'all pennies.
I like the idea of
together.
You thinking that we haven't started recording yet, and then you're like, well, let me down this real quick.
Get this right.
let me do this. Yeah, man. I grew up in the church too, and I mean, so much of my family's life is that that duality. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think most people who are in church, really are trying to find. What's my balance?
What's my balance?
That I don't feel too guilty about, where the rest of my life I'm not feeling like a horrible person.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Guilt drove me for so long.
I mean, it's such a huge thing with religion.
It is.
It hangs over you. They use it as a
it's the hook.
It's a tool.
It's look. People can believe whatever they want. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Whenever I roll into any belief system where the hook is guilt, if you don't have that guilt, then you don't have no power over people's emotional stability and what they do with their lives. Then you don't have no power. And I firmly believe, and this is just from my past experiences, I firmly believe I don't really buy into the whole devil stuff. I finally got to a point where I went, oh, that doesn't really make sense, right? I've got a very, very specific understanding of things. But with that said, I believe that there are more folks that are scared of the devil or Satan, and like in ancient Hebrew, Satan was shaitan, which meant crazy thought, but that's a whole different sermon. More people are afraid of what might happen if they don't believe,
yes, than
they are actually coming from their full heart believing in something.
A safety net, if you will.
A safety net. Yeah. Like they say FOMO or FOHO, fear of hell. I don't know what the O would be.
Fear of heavening out.
fear of helling out.
Yeah, fear of helling out.
Right. So I mean, and it's not a knock. It's just if it's used as a tool to keep you in fear. Look, we know what fear looks like when it's propagated. Yeah. And how it can sway people into believing one thing or another.
So you don't believe in Satan. Do you believe in demons or ghosts or supernatural stuff like that?
I don't believe in demons and ghosts. I do believe that when the physical body breaks down and the energy that's animating it leaves it, I do believe that energy's gone somewhere. And I do believe that it's possible that energy could get stuck in between this physical form and the next form of energy that we may not be able to see and interact. Because I've had too many experiences and too many moments where I've felt the presence of family members, where I've felt a hand moving things in my life and in my career, usually protecting me, or even nudging me not to go down a certain road. And it's always the times where I ignore it and go down that road that I'm like, oh, that's what they were trying to tell me. Yeah. So I believe that we're all energy. And I don't believe energy can be created or destroyed. These are facts. And I had this philosophy. It's real simple. If I cut off my pinky, do I die? If I cut off my hand, do I die? If I cut off my arm, do I die? And I started going through the whole body and I went, the truth of the matter is there are vital organs in the body that keep this physical form rolling. But if your spirit is not in your pinky, then it cannot be in your brain and your heart. Those have to just be vital parts of the physical carbon machinery that keep you going. And then once that disconnects, whatever's actually animating us right now has to go somewhere. Right? Yeah. So if I can't be one physical body part, then I can't be any body part. You dig it? Okay. Like if I can cut off my hand and I'm still going, right? But my spirit doesn't live in my hand and I cut off my head, I may not still physically keep going, right? But my spirit energy has to go somewhere. It has to be in something. And it can't be in any one body part because we know people that are alive without a brain. Right. Like they got a brain stem and they're there, right? Yeah. You got people that have portions of a heart and they're there. They may not function like we do, but they're there. What up? Right. They're in the physical form. Yeah. So all I'm getting at is if you can't take one piece of it, then no piece of it is what you are. You're something more than that. So you have to be more than this flesh, this brain, this heart. You have to be something more. And once that disconnects, I don't know what happens to it. Yeah. I don't know where it goes, but I know we're more that than we are this. Okay. That's all.
That's kind of profound.
Yeah, it was kind of deep, but that's what happens when the Woodford gets flowing.
Hey, man, I dig it.
Light, light conversation for.
Hey, you know what I love about this podcast? It can go as silly as we want, or it can go as profound as we want.
Right.
That is very free form, very much where we want to take it.
You know.
When I met you, so we haven't known each other really crazy amount of time.
No, we're still getting to know each other.
We're still getting to know each other. But I gotta say, so the way that Jason and I met was through our wives.
Yes.
They met randomly at a restaurant locally to where we live.
Yep.
And they hit it off. They both had baby strollers. They got to talking.
Yep.
And my wife doesn't ask me very often to do the double date thing or the couples thing. So she's like, I really want us to go out with Tio and her husband.
Right.
And I was like, I'm sure you've been in that situation.
It's always weird.
It's always weird because you're like, you might be hitting it off with your friend, but like the husband thing,
they might not click.
It might not click at all.
It kind of like the kids may be friends.
Exactly.
And then the adults are just like, we don't have to be friends just because our kids are friends.
Yeah, just drop them off.
Just, we good.
We'll exchange.
That actually happened to my mom. That happened to me in high school.
Really?
One of my close friends, I won't say names. One of my close friends in high school, me and him were buddies. I was friends with his brother. Like the three of us made each other laugh constantly. And, my parents are very, outgoing. My mom was very outgoing. My dad's a little bit more reserved. And I think we were at a sporting event of some sort, probably track, I think. And my mom started to try and chum it up with their mom. And their mom was like, we don't have to be friends just because our kids are.
Just straight up.
Straight up to her face. And my mom was like, oh, okay. I can support that. Stop talking to her.
Yeah.
All good. Fast forward, something hit the fan at one point, and someone needed a pickup. Like, could you pick the boys up and drop? She's like, oh, well, remember when you told me that we don't have to be friends because our sons are friends? I don't have to pick your child up just because our sons are friends. My mom clapped back. My mom's like, we'll hold on to shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then clap back, and she was not happy. But I'm like, don't be rude. But sometimes some folks just think they can say whatever they want.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I appreciate brutal honesty. Like, I did an audition once.
Did you?
Where...
You auditioned in this town?
Every once in a while.
You kidding?
I did an audition once before I left the room.
Yeah.
They're like, you didn't get it. It's like, thank you. Thank you for just... Thank you for letting me know.
Such a fan. Tell me yes, tell me no, but tell me something quick.
Right.
Yes.
I was like, great.
That's way better than going out of there thinking, man, I killed it.
And then like hinging hope on stuff.
Absolutely.
It's draining.
It's very...
I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders as I left the audition. I go, awesome.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I can go on about my day and not give a rip.
Exactly.
About these people. I wish more people were honest in this town. Like,
I wish it was too, but there's too many crazy people that are like, no, give me another shot. It's like,
yeah, that's true. That is true. When people get like real super needy and desperate and they cling to that thing.
I've got it. I swear.
No, you don't. No, I can do it again. So no, do y'all want me to try this sad or angry? I can cry on cue. No, we good. It's I
can make myself throw up. You're like, what?
It's a McDonald's commercial.
Yeah.
We good. We good?
I'm loving it. It's like, this is way too much.
It's a little too much. That's not what we're going for. It's crazy. I'm wired, to be really honest.
Yeah.
I'm a Virgo.
Yeah.
Grew up in a military family. Was always the young guy that would see what was happening in front of people and just call it out for what it is, and would blow up certain situations and just blow up people dating with other people and knowing full well that they didn't like each other or he didn't like her. And I call it out. Man, that stuff blew up in my face so much. And I realized it's like, oh, people don't want to hear the truth.
A lot of people don't.
They really don't want to hear the truth.
It.
They want to live in a false reality that makes them feel, I don't want to say, that makes them feel whatever positive affirmation they want to
whatever
feel.
Version of themselves that they want to be seeing.
That.
Yeah.
Whatever version they want to be seeing. And I'm the one that goes, yeah, but no, because you really can't sing. No, I get it. You spent all this money.
Yeah.
Album.
You did the lessons. You did the things.
All that.
Producer sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. Your throat sound like a carburetor fell out of it. That ain't it. That ain't it. It's not. And I got to LA and it was really weird because not everybody, a lot of people like to live in this bubble of false.
I just want to be safe, okay?
Right? Safeness.
Jason,
safe spaces.
seriously? Like, just like
I want to be in a safe space.
I only want to know so much, okay?
Yeah. I'm here to blow your shit up.
Listen, don't tell me too much, okay?
Yeah, look, so the role calls for a character with a deep voice, and you don't have that.
But I could put on.
No.
I could put on
but we don't want you.
I could put on a deeper voice.
Yeah, now you sound like an actor I know of, but I can't remember his name, but you ain't him either.
Okay, well, I'm really good with direction.
I just told you that you can't do this, and you still trying to go down the road of do this. You can't take direction either.
Well, I would be willing to take direction if you were willing to guide me a little bit more. Have you ever thought about your direction as a director? Your skills may not be up to par.
You could be right, but I am directing this project, this new media project, which means I'm in charge and you not. So I'm going to be the one to tell you that you need to go take classes.
Okay.
And basket weaving, because acting ain't it for you.
Basket weaving?
Basket weaving.
You know what? It's people like you that ruin this place for other people.
Pretty sure it's the people that drive cars entirely too much that ruin the atmosphere of this place that make it bad.
No. It's people like you that tear people's dreams down and don't care about their well-being whatsoever that I have a problem with.
I'm trying to save you of the heartache of wasting the next 15 years of your life to only get to the end of that 15 years and be right where you are today.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
Right.
And then I'm going to call you up and I'm going to be like, oh, hey, Mr. New Media Director.
Pull out your phone. My phone number is 323-642-89.
What are the last two digits?
05.
Okay. Save. As asshole.
That's why I like Simon Cowell so much. The first version of Simon Cowell.
I know.
Brutal.
Just freaking
He
brutal.
did not care. I hate is a strong word. I need to learn how to temper that. Do
you know that emo song from back in the day?
Which one?
Hate is a strong word, but I really, really, really don't like you. I never heard that one.
Emo?
Oh yeah, some pop punk emo.
Like, what about me reads emo?
As I do a hair talk, I don't know, Jason. Jason, I don't know.
I don't know.
Jason, you've never heard that emo song? Seriously?
No, nah.
Well,
sorry. Nope. That must have been back during my gospel days.
It would be fun to test you, me naming different pop punk or emo bands.
Pop punk.
And see if you have heard of them.
Pop punk or pop punk emo, like comma. Pop comma.
It's like pop punk / emo or pop punk.
So they're all, that's like one category.
It's kind of lumped in because true emo is more specific to a certain group of bands.
Got it.
But like pop punk / emo is like something that kind of went mainstream.
Okay.
You know?
Are these derivatives or offshoots or are the roots of pop punk emo in 80s new wave?
Probably.
Because I lived 80s new wave.
I mean, okay. Everybody's going to be inspired by like The Cure and you know what I mean? Like that's a great example of like, okay, they're derivative of like, show me how you do that. You know.
Yeah.
And then like, but they're like, okay, that but we're gonna wring it out and make it more muddy and make it more dirty. And with that mud, we're gonna put on eyeliner and we're gonna maybe do a little cutting on the wrist and get it in there. And
so violent.
Yeah,
like that was
I'm gonna have a pet crow and
a pet crow.
Yeah,
that was not the 80s, but I get where that came from. I see how they took that and fused it with like hardcore punk.
Yeah,
and a little bit of, it sounds like a little bit of touch of grunge.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are the music. Those are the genres of my generation.
Right.
You know, because I'm all Gen X.
Yeah.
Like all Gen X, and it's either new wave, hip hop. Like no, not even hip hop. Rap. Like full on.
Who are your favorite rappers?
Oh God, I used to love Ice-T. His first few albums. Old school like Curtis Blow. Because I'm Curtis Blow, and I want you to know that these are the breaks. Give it up, bring it up, bring it up, hurrah. Like those were rap lyrics back then.
Yeah.
Hurrah. That's where the hurrah would work. But that's the whole thing. But like
anytime they're saying Hotel Motel Holiday Inn, you know it's a good rap song.
You know it's a good rap song. Early LL, like the first, God, I remember when Bad dropped. I was a sophomore in high school. And I was living in Germany. So
You were living in Germany?
Yeah, my dad was military. So we were in Germany in the 80s. And so we had a disconnect with mainstream music. We had a disconnect with mainstream TV. We were 3 years behind in TV, but we were current in music. So music would get over to us, and one person would get the cassette tape. A cassette tape is...
This is for the viewers. I grew up with cassette tapes.
You grew up with cassette. All right. So anybody that doesn't know what a cassette tape is, it's a little tiny little... Y'all have seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, there you go. That's a cassette That's a great
tape.
reference point, actually.
Saved me all this explanation.
Yeah.
So we would get the cassette and we would just bump it. Like somebody who had a boombox, and we bump it. And I remember all of us sitting there with a piece of paper and a pad hitting play, rewind, play, rewind, play, rewind to learn the lyrics to LL Cool J's Bad.
Do you know what I used to do that you'd appreciate? So I used to have one of those stereo cassette players. They were the dual.
Oh, reel to reel.
With it was like a Sony setup where they had like two speakers.
Oh yeah,
and it had the two cassette players.
Absolutely,
right?
Like a little wood grain dash, little wood grain, little piece of metal that was wood grain.
My brother and I would wait up real late throughout the night because sometimes they'd play new like hit songs on the radio and stuff like that, and we would wait for that song to come around and then
hit record
right from the radio, right on the cassette tape
from the airwaves.
Before downloading and ripping things, you were ripping it from FM radio,
man, right off the airwaves.
Yes,
all with the little clicks and clacks and all the sound frequencies,
and it made you feel like you accomplished something. You caught it in time.
It was great.
You sometimes would get it at perfect right after the DJ would introduce it.
It was the best. So similar experience. It was like 85 through 88 that we were in Germany, and Casey Kasem's Top 40.
Casey Kasem's Top 40
would come on every day, every Sunday at like 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yep.
And we're way ahead in time, like 10 hours ahead in time in West Germany. Back when the wall was up.
In West Germany, born and raised.
On the playground is where I spend most of my days.
Chilling out racks and perhaps not fooling.
And shooting some people outside of the school. And a couple of Fräuleins
were up to no good.
Started making trouble in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood.
I got in one little war and my mom got scared.
She said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bael." In Heidelberg.
I do that. So it's a little hot for this, but I do.
A terrible German accent, but that was fun.
I do a segment on the show called Wig. And,
oh yeah,
and I have a couple wigs that I kind of want to be back in 1980s Germany with you.
Jesus. I almost brought my old improv gig, my sketch gig bag.
I would have loved that.
I should have brought it.
I would have loved for you to do that.
I was like, man, do I bring this? Because I got all kinds of stuff in there from back when I was doing sketch all the time. I'm rusty as hell, but it's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, shit, you got some wigs.
Wig.
I don't know what you want to do. but I know that I love you. I want to take you out and have a drink. I want to come home and wash your sink. Oh, I don't know, but I love you.
I love you. I love you.
I love you. I love you.
I've been thinking for so long about you every night. I don't know if I can ask you out. I may, or I might. What's your number? What's your telephone? Give me your number. I would appreciate it if you gave it to me before slumber.
I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know what you're gonna say. I don't know. But I love you.
I love you. I love you.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you.
I love you. That was Casey Kasem's.
That was like, I feel like we're really getting somewhere with like, you know, like we put on our American voices for that when we sang it and stuff.
You know, I feel like we are very, very close to being as good as Duran Duran, Sam Le Bon.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, are you as hungry as a wolf like I am right now? I could really go for a pizza or some kind of shaker right now.
I could go for a U2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
U2?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
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 I feel like we're like really close to Gideon's radio out here in
I truly believe that we will be on the air and be at the top of Casey Kasem's soon.
I would love to be on the top of Casey Kasem's. The bottoms of Casey Kasem's would be honestly anything would be good for me, even in the middles.
But we will need a name.
That is a very good point.
Group, because it cannot no longer be you and I.
Dieter, stop like you keep like doing this with your hair.
It is getting in my eye.
I know,
and it is
but
quite uncomfortable.
It's the hairstyles that you chose, okay?
It is a look that is not good for my spirit.
I know, but you're wanting to be the front man of this band, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Then start acting like it. You have one piece of your eye. People can't see it.
Klaus?
Yes?
Klaus?
Yes, Dieter?
Let me live my best life.
Okay, fine. You live your best life. I will live my best life. Okay, so what is the names that you should come up with?
I'm quite certain that Milli Vanilli did not have these kind of issues when they were forming themselves, yeah?
No, but they had like makeup people and they had like a big crew. Like we're in our garage right now trying to come up with these sick beats.
They are the greatest group that ever come out of Germany, yeah?
I mean, yeah, they're really good. Yeah, there's people that are inspiring for me and you to look up to, yeah.
I just don't understand why you have to be such a Kleimenfloschen.
Okay, you do not use that language in me. The last time that I heard that was when my father left my mother years ago, okay? I don't know. You know that that's a trigger word for me?
Klaus?
Yes, Dieter?
You do not have to always invoke your mother and your fathers, yeah?
Maybe I do, okay? Maybe it's coming from a heartfelt place that your cold heart has locked out every other emotion. Oh, are you speaking through the xylophone again? Really?
Your cold heart blocks out the emotion.
Did we just come up with the title for
a new album?
A new album?
It is so brilliant.
It's really good.
I love this. Your cold heart blocks out the emotion.
Your cold heart blocks out the emotion. It's very dark.
It is very dark. It is like a clash between our look and our sound.
But should we do the face for the album cover right now?
Certainly.
Okay, in 3,
2,
2, 1. That's pretty good.
This is good.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, I like where this is going.
I love it when we sync up.
Yeah, it's like first we were kind of fighting, and I was like, "Where's this even going?" At the moment,
you know, we are German.
Yeah, it's
we
true.
are fighters.
I know, fighters. You know, turns into lovers, turns into friends.
Let's not go there.
Okay.
There.
You know, friendships for life.
Friendships for life.
That's what we like. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so I feel like we've got one hit song. It's good.
Yeah. Do you ever think we will ever get to leave Berlin and go to the West?
I hope we get to go to the States one of these days, you know?
I would love to just go to West Germany.
Really? That's all you aspire to do is just go to the west side of Germany?
Yeah.
I mean, Dieter, aim bigger, okay, friend?
I am aiming big.
Like even bigger.
Do you know how many people have died and perished trying to get across West checkpoint, Charlie? Do you know? Do you know? Oh, I like this.
Let me find it. It's coming
it,
to me. Let me find it. Let me just take a moment.
Take your time. You're going to use some hand sanitizer.
Scheiße, what's up? Let me try to find this.
Oh, you almost had it. You almost had it. They do not want us coming across the Charlie. They want us to stay here forever. But we want to be free. We want to be free. We want to go across the checkpoint, Charlie.
We just want to be free. You and me. We just want to be free. I say you and me. Dieter and Klaus, forever as friends. I would maybe like it to go further, but Dieter always says we're just friends.
And we are always just friends.
But what if possibly we took it to another dimension?
But we could just leave it as it is. Right here and now.
I just wanna be free. With you and me.
Oh,
let's be free. You and me.
This is very good.
It was 2 hit songs now.
This is two. We are on a roll, as they say in the West.
Yes, it's not true. Well, this meeting I feel like has been really good. We already have 2 hit songs, so I guess I'll see you maybe tomorrow. We rehearse then. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Great seeing you.
Au revoir. That is French for goodbye.
You're so new age.
No.
You're using the French as a
Super
German man?
French.
I love you.
It is great to see you again, Klaus.
All right. Bye, Dieter.
Wig.
You know, I've not gone like full character, like full dive in so long.
How did it feel?
Awkward. It's weird.
Yeah?
Yeah, the field of play is still there,
Right.
but knowing what to do and knowing how to just sit in it
Yeah.
and just be like, F it. I know everything
Yeah.
from this character's point of view.
Yeah.
It is weird because it's rusty. I haven't
Sure.
done it since 2009. I haven't really actively been in
Was that
sketch.
the last time you were like at Second City around then?
Yeah, actively. Yeah, I mean, I've always popped in and out.
Yeah.
But where I was taking classes or I was doing shows
Yeah.
between either IO or Second City, 2009,
Wow.
I did the CBS showcase.
Yeah.
And it was a full-on sketch show. It's a big deal now. Then it wasn't. But Aria Arethis was in my cast, who just was on SNL for the season. Ginger Gonzaga, who's on She-Hulk. We were all like, those are my people.
Yeah.
Like, and it was crazy how deep we went. Colton Dunn, like we were all
That
in it
class.
for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Creating and just coming up with whatever sketches we could, and it was an intense experience. And that was it didn't go as well for me. It always happens. There's always somebody where one or two people where it's just not going to play out that great. And for me, it was I was that guy. It didn't play out that fantastically for me, but it was one of the best times of my life, one of the hardest times of my life. Because, you're climbing and you want that opportunity, that break. Of course. And what's crazy is after years of it, being long gone past, you now realize that, the break, you are the break.
I know.
Like, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, what you're doing, who sprinkles pixie dust on you.
It's a hard mental state to get in. I think you got almost all of it. Do one more.
It's been a long time since I've had this much blonde hair on me. I'm telling on myself.
There we go. Looking sharp again.
About around the same time frame, the early 2000s, early 10s.
So what I was gonna say, the long story of me, us essentially, we went on a double date with our wives.
Right.
I was so relieved.
Nice callback.
How cool you were.
Thank you.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I appreciate that.
Because I have done this with some other couples.
Yeah. And it's
always like, I think the real talk factor, you and I hit it off right away with that, is because we weren't like, I don't even know how to describe it, when somebody is just being direct with you versus you're like, there's like a fakeness that's going on here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like I said, we're still getting to know each other, but I think we're the type of people that just present ourselves. It's like, this is me. Take it or leave it. If you don't, fine.
On to the next one.
On to the next. It ain't going to affect me. I ain't going to cry. I ain't going to lose no sleep over it. This is just what it is. And Gesundheit. I think you said Gesundheit for a call.
Gesundheit.
Yeah.
Slipping back in.
Slick Vic. I'm just, growing up in the military, as in a military family, and I always reach back to the touchstones of my life that kind of taught me how to engage people for the first time.
Yeah.
When you're the new kid all the time, like every 3 years, you're the new kid. You learn, I can't present a false version of me. And I've done that. Trying too hard. I've done that. I did that when I first moved to LA.
Guilty.
And it just was not good.
Yeah.
But once you realize that your authentic self is enough to draw people in or repel them, and be okay with the repel, if that's part of it.
Oh, no. I think that's a big, just the way I conduct myself with my comedy and everything. It's just polarizing. It just is what it is. So like, I have people who dig it and I'm super grateful. And then there's people that are like, why won't this guy be authentic? And I'm like, I am being authentic, but you can't accept that I'm a big thing that like, I'll give feedback on is like, this dude fake laughs all the time. Can you imagine being in a world where you're having such a good time that you're being so present in the moment that you're actually enjoying yourself that much?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I try to live my life.
Right.
And some people like to hate on that. I'm like, you know what? That's fine.
Right.
That's, you deal with your own thing.
Right.
But
absolutely.
I did at one school that I went to, I tried too hard, too quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it just was bad, bro.
Yeah.
It was just, people smelled on you.
Oh, they smell on you. You feel it.
Of course.
It's so obvious because you're trying and you're putting on
hey, guys.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
And, there were times where I remember doing it, being a little too overly excited about my early sketch days, being too overly excited about what I did on the stage and my challenge was this. I always had this thing in my brain that thought whatever it is I'm doing is really a big deal.
Yeah.
And so I would kind of act like it was a big deal.
Sure.
In places and spaces where it really wasn't. But I also was letting people gas me because I just didn't have any framework. I didn't know.
There's no reference.
There was no reference point. So because I had no reference point, and this was one of the first things that I was ever doing, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm actually doing the thing that I said I was going to come out here and do. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it in this way, and people are making a big deal out of it. Oh, it must be a big deal. It's a big deal to me. It feels great. Oh, my God. Oh, this is a thing. Because I was on that juice, it would just come off and just reek of inauthenticity.
Yeah.
And one writer popped my bubble early on and was just like, relax, man, it's not that funny. And I went, I wonder why I didn't get offended. I went, I wonder why he said that. And I was able to step back in the course of that year in anything that I was going into and go, is this really a big deal?
Yeah. Or
is it just getting some attention right now? It's getting attention right now. Okay. I can sit back, relax, and now I can instead of me worrying about the finish line of the sprint, I can just go, oh, it's a marathon. These are checkpoints along the way.
One of the best, harshest notes that I ever got was from a groundlings teacher. And he goes, I'm going to be honest. You're good enough for me to pass you, but you won't learn if I pass you right now. Wow. He goes, your problem is not the comedy or the skill set to improvise or do characters, which is a lot of people's when they come into the groundlings, is we're having to shape them of getting their skill level up to be comfortable seamlessly going into these characters and all that. That's not your issue. Mm-hmm. He goes, you want it too bad. That. And you reek of it.
That.
And I was like, what? He goes, every time you go up, I can tell how bad you want to kill and you want those laughs. He goes, you need to work on that, and I'm not going to pass you.
That's a great coach.
It was one of those moments. It was a defining moment in my comedy career. Mm-hmm. I was so pissed at the time.
Of course.
I'm like, what do you mean I'm good enough? But you know what I mean?
Of course.
Why is that not a good thing? And that, it's like,
of course,
it's something that I still to this day constantly. He goes, you need to zen out.
Absolutely.
He goes,
absolutely.
As soon as you figure that out, he goes, you're going to start booking everything. But when you come into a room, the way that you come into my room every week, he goes, you're not going to book anything.
It's true.
And I was like, whoa.
It's true.
Yeah.
I thought that everything was everything was my big break. I came into LA with this sense of being discovered, wanting to be discovered.
Well, I think that's an illusion to a lot of people, and it's a trap to a lot of people who move out here from, whether you're, especially if you don't have family or any context like what you're saying, no reference point for people in the industry, how it works out here.
Yeah.
The discover word is huge.
Huge.
It's been an ongoing joke with my mom and I now over the years, where like I'll be doing a random gig, like in the middle of nowhere, doing a stand-up gig. She goes, I think you're gonna get discovered tonight. You know what I mean? It's just like that kind of thing. Right. She's like, this is the night. This is the night.
You've been working hard.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna be in the audience.
Tonight's your night.
Yeah. So,
and like that's the thing. Like to that point, part of the challenge was, improv was very much the thing where I went, if I can't learn how to use myself, what's a script going to do for me? Right.
Sure.
So I went that route.
Yeah.
I started in stand-up like early on. I started going down the stand-up road, and Rosowski said, look, these are two completely different comedic disciplines. You need to pick one.
Yeah.
He said, because he said, Jason, you're gifted. You have something. I don't know what, but you have something. I don't know if you have the discipline to be able to study both at the same time, because they're in opposition of each other.
Right.
And you need to pick one and go down that road. And whichever one you pick will be the right one for you. Mm-hmm. And you can always migrate to the other one once you get proficient. But don't try to learn stand-up and sketch at the same time for you.
Right.
Because you want this... You want to be the funny guy all the time.
Right.
So you're trying too hard, and you're going to go on a stage and try too hard. And my fear for you is that you're going to try too hard and fail too much, and you're not going to be able to get through the bombs. And I was like, damn. And so I stepped back and I thought about it, and I went, let me go down this improv road. I've already invested time here and money here and studying here, and I just finished IFA 3, I think. And I went, all right, let me go down this road.
Improv for actors.
Improv for actors, level 3.
Level 3.
And so that was my beginning. And I started having success early on. I was still trying too hard, but I was having success. And by success, I mean I was getting response, right?
Yeah.
And those responses became very addictive.
Of course.
And you started going for the response.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's why it's really hard sometimes. I've done improv over the years with people who are amazing improvisers, and then there'd be some nights where they'd be like, we're going to bring in some stand-up comedians to improvise with the improvisers.
Yeah.
And they hated it because the stand-ups would always go for the joke. Where in improv, really good, honest improv, you're not going for that punchline. You're playing to the reality of the characters. And
the
then,
relationships.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
And it's, and I can talk this stuff forever because it's the part of the journey that I found the most interesting. It's where I found myself in the journey of becoming an improviser and ultimately an actor who could improvise, right?
Well, that's what's cool about. So I did a little bit of research on you before coming over, but I found it really cool. You mentioned in like an interview that they tacked on an extra day for when you were doing voiceover work in Deathloop, where they basically wanted you to do what you do, which is invaluable as somebody who's casting something if you can improvise and know how to work a character.
Yeah.
It's you can't write it. It would take a team of people to properly do an extra day for recording and stuff like that. And I watched some of the gameplay footage of Deathloop, and it's really cool, man.
Thanks,
if you there are some I've got some gamers who watch the show, and I play like Call of Duty. I play casually and stuff like that. But if you didn't know already, Jason is the guy. He's the lead actor, voice actor in Deathloop, and it's really cool to just see, like, I don't think I've ever really met somebody who is the guy in a video game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's so much dialogue.
So much.
It's
insane. It's insane. It's insane.
It's really cool.
I mean, you're talking about, I think Deathloop taps out at about 50 plus hours of play, 55, something like that. And that's just if you play straight through. There are, like, if you go offshoots,
different storylines,
it gets much longer than that.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking about it, and when you're recording it, you're not thinking about it in context of how long is this, because it's not really a script. It's just lines on the page, and then you get fed the context, and you deliver the line based off the context.
Could you do this with a grunt? Could you do this with a yeah.
And here's what's going on in the scene. Here's what's going on in the moment. Okay, great. And you go, and you're doing usually triples of everything, and you just kind of lose track of what you're doing, and just fall into. You just give yourself up to whatever the character is, and it was a wonderful experience. Once I saw it all put together, and I still haven't seen or played the whole game all the way through, but I've seen about 30-40 minutes of gameplay. I'm like, oh,
it's impressive.
This is what we did.
Yeah.
And it's a great piece of work. I'm glad to be a part of it. Very, very grateful to be a part of it. You work really long time in this business as an actor to have what I call touchstone projects where you're known for. And I'm grateful that after 16, 17 years in the business, I have something that I'm known for that is more than a commercial.
Yep.
It's a genuine bona fide piece of work.
And not only you got nominated,
and I got a few nominations
for a BAFTA. Explain to the viewers and listeners what that means to you, and just what a BAFTA is.
The British Academy of Film, Television Arts has a gaming division that they honor and recognize the technical work as well as the performance work in video games. The simplest way to describe it is a BAFTA is the British Oscars for the gaming world. And they have, they have it for TV and film and They have the BAFTAs for just TV, BAFTAs for just film, BAFTAs for stage. I think they have for stage. No, I take that back. They don't have for stage because it's film and television. Sorry, that would be the Olivier Awards. I apologize to my mates across the pond.
So sorry.
But yeah, it's the equivalent of an Oscar.
It's a big deal.
It's a
awesome.
big deal. And it was pretty amazing to go through that experience.
It was cool for me, especially just knowing you for a short amount of time and as we become friends, but I got to talk with you before and after the experience.
Yeah.
And it was really cool just to see it as a friend, to see it through. There's like a glimmer in your eye of like when you came back, where I was like, man, this was like a life-changing experience.
Yeah, it really was. It was completely, I almost didn't go because, I got nominated like 6 or 7 times prior to that. And I'd won one. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, do I fly all the way over there? Is it going to matter? Is it going to make that much of a difference? What if I don't win? I spent all this time, money, and effort and went over here. And then something else shifted. And it went, you've been doing this for how long? Mm-hmm. And you've been honored by being nominated by one of the highest awards in the industry. They are acknowledging the work in gaming in a way that none of the highest awards in the American system are even acknowledging.
Yeah.
Right. And they should. Right. The Oscars are constantly talking about how do we get young viewership in? Fucking have a video game segment.
It would be
and
huge.
Acknowledge the actors in video games. That would be absolutely massive.
It really
if
would.
They went, let's have a lead performer and supporting performers, just men and women, non-binary, whatever, all in one category, but do lead and supporting for gaming. Their viewership would jump through the roof, because what they don't realize is how loyal,
how invested
gaming fans are. You think about we watch TV, right? We turn on TV, we drop in, watch Game of Thrones or whatever shows on the air. We go knee deep into Marvel or whatever DiCaprio's doing for the year. We go knee deep into it, right? And we love it. But we sit there for 2.5 hours and that's all we get of these movie stars, right? We go in on a TV series and on average, it's a total, if the show's good and goes, 60 hours. That's the length of Breaking Bad. 60 hours. 60, right? Spread out. There are people that invest an entire week with you in their ears, playing, fully immersed and interacting with you as an actor.
Yeah.
And you have to be believable and make them buy it for the entire storyline.
Otherwise, they're out.
Otherwise, they check out. And so that's when I really understood what I was a part of.
Yeah.
And that clicked for me, having conversation with one of my British colleagues who is an incredible thespian. Like Neil Nebon is an incredible actor. And I just got a chance to have a really deep conversation with him. He was in Resident Evil Village along with Maggie Robertson, who swept. She had an incredible season, won a ton of awards. But I had a really great conversation with him. He's tall, he's good looking, he's got this voice. He could be a movie star if he wanted to. And he's more excited about voiceover and motion cap, because that's where actors get to do really great character work, right? And he's into character work. And he said, Jason, my friend, people are living with your character in their ears for a week at a time, all day long. They're immersing themselves in your work, and they're fully interactive with what you're doing. I cannot fathom, these are his words, I cannot fathom a more incredible acting experience than that. And I went, click.
Yeah, that's a cool way to put it.
Because last year I was on Mayor of Kingstown. And I was in Toronto all summer. I worked 5 days on set, getting a paycheck, 5 days. And I'm not knocking it. They had to buy out our time because of COVID. We couldn't fly back and forth. But the amount of time that I spent on that show compared to the amount of time I spent on Deathloop, and Deathloop was one of the biggest video games of the year last year as a hit. You talk about a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's an $8 billion industry just in the UK. You have to stop and ask yourself, why is it not being honored and acknowledged at the Emmy and SAG and, Oscar level?
I think it will be eventually, if people make enough noise. It's one of those, it's a weird thing where like skateboarding as a sport just entered the Olympics, like for like flatland and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it just takes a while
time.
where it's like, after a while, it's like, this is a no-brainer. Why
Sure.
wouldn't we?
Sure.
Why wouldn't we be doing this?
It'll happen. Look, I mean, Lance Reddick stars in Horizon Forbidden West.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie-Anne Moss is in the game. Movie stars are starting to do video games.
They're starting to get it.
They're starting to get it.
Yeah.
Because one, it's a lot of fun. Two, it's great writing, right? And sooner or later, they're going to go, oh, we should put this in, and people are going to start paying more attention to the Oscars. Won't necessarily be as stuffy as they are sometimes. I think it's gonna happen. I hope it does. Not just because I'm in the field. I know, likely what will happen is then, movie stars and like seasoned actors will start migrating into it and push out all the people like Jennifer Hale, who's a goddess of the voiceover world.
Yeah.
That has been, she's got a world record for voices and characters that she's done in video gaming. She's been doing it forever, and she's amazing at it. And there's so many people. That's the thing, is there are so many people that have had a run on camera that video gaming just opened up for them as kind of a backup or a second, as a way of just working. Mm-hmm. And then it overtook it and it became a thing. Troy Baker is a friend, right? I called Troy when all this started going down. I was like, Troy, what am I getting myself into? Like, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
And he gave me some great advice and just wise words just that were meant for me privately. But here he is, an incredibly seasoned actor who's the star of The Last of Us in the video game world. That's now being made into a TV series or movie, Netflix, I think, TV series starring Pedro Pascal. And this is what I love. They circled back to Troy and said, we want to give you a role. It's not the lead, but we want to give you a legitimate role in the game, in the movie.
Yeah.
As long as that kind of stuff happens, absolutely. Pushing people out that created the vibe and created the whole world, that's where I have disdain.
Yeah. For those of you who are, animated fans or comic book fans, you probably already know this, but Troy Baker is one of the people who voiced the Joker. So when I did my Joker on DC Superhero Girls, people were tagging Troy and stuff like that, and Mark Hamill and different stuff like, hey, what do you
right.
No responses, but they're like, hey, what do you think of this guy's take on Joker? And I was like, yeah, cool.
Dig
Heck
that.
yeah.
What character would you like to play? Like, if you had a home run character in any one of those worlds, like, what character would be the character you just want to dive into and lose yourself in?
As far as notable ones that already exist?
Sure.
One of my dream characters is I would love to voice Michelangelo and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I dig that.
Yeah, that's one of my dream characters. I'm hoping that I get to do the Joker more on, it was a show called DC Superhero Girls, where they kind of borrowed the Joker for their universe. Mm-hmm. I did a couple episodes, amazing experience.
Yep.
and it's cool like that I'm a very small part in that DC universe because I grew up with Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, huge fan.
Great series.
So good.
Great series.
So I'm hoping that I get to do more Joker stuff down the line.
Yeah.
That was definitely a check mark as far as like dream roles since I grew up with that so much. But Mikey has a very special place in my heart. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to try to. I'm hoping I get to audition for something like that someday.
I dig it.
Yeah,
I dig it.
Yeah. What about you? Do you have like a comic book character or like an animated character that you're like, oh man, I would love the opportunity to voice this?
It's so hard for me to answer that question. I always get asked that question a lot. And I don't ever have. I've never had like this straight answer, but like in Transformers, the who was it? He was the ambulance.
Oh wow.
I can't remember the character's name. But I've always wanted to be like one of the Transformer voices.
I can hear it for sure.
Always. And I'm friends with Stephen Caple Jr.
Oh wow.
Who directed Beast Wars.
I loved that show growing up.
Like it was a great show, right?
It.
Great show.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I beg
right
my friend for a small bit part, and I couldn't do it. I didn't want to put him on the spot like that.
Yeah.
But Transformers are I could tell you the titles, but as far as characters, I don't think I have any one because I just enjoy working. But Panther from Thundercats. Or whatever his name is would be cool. So the weird thing is I was always aware of the characters who were black dudes voices
of
going
course
up.
You're gonna naturally gravitate.
So I'm gonna naturally gravitate towards those, and there weren't a lot of them.
Right. So they stand out. You're like, that's cool.
That dude, I want to be them. Yeah. And it's weird because I used to limit myself that way and go, I can only play the characters that are voiced type matched towards mine.
Yeah.
And now in the world that we live today, you can play anybody.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to play a vampire. I don't have a single Marvel character that I've ever been like, oh, I want to be that guy.
I've auditioned for, like, after the Joker stuff, I auditioned for some other stuff, like, in the DC universe, and I was like, oh, it'd be so cool. You know what I mean? Like different stuff like that. They got me excited. And I auditioned for some Transformers. They're rebooting so many of the shows that we grew up with and stuff like that, that it's exciting that there's potential. There's potential there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
That because I see all these auditions and that are coming through, and I'm auditioning for stuff all the time, and I'm going, oh wow, they're making that. Oh wow, they're making that. I did just get. I can't even say what it is. Huge video game franchise that's being turned into a TV series, and I'm in it.
Yes.
And it's one of my. I can't say that either. Because I've said what it is. I'm saying way too much as it is. Somebody out there is going to piece together this. But I am in I'm in a title that's being made into an animated series. I'm really excited about it.
Well, congrats, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But it's like, I don't know, man. It's fun. I love both voice and I just love to act. I think that's part of my challenge. I can never find the thing that, I want to do this. I want to do this. I just like to work.
I like to perform.
I just like to perform.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that Rosowski always would hit me. Rosowski had the most profound impact on my craft as a improviser. Mm-hmm. And he always would pull me aside and he's like, Jason, you love to perform. When you learn how to not perform, you'll be performing at your highest level. And I didn't understand what that kung fu meant for the longest time. And then there was a distinct moment at UCB. It was actually the same night Donald Glover had just moved to LA right before Community, and he had gotten cast, and his group came on right after ours. And Tuskegee Experiment was performing, and we were just on one. Like we were one of the first all black improv troupes in LA.
When I was coming up in the improv scene, you guys were like one of those groups that people kept being like, Jeremiah, you got to see these guys. Oh, wow. You know what I mean? It was crazy. That kind of buzz around you guys. Yeah,
and see, I had no frame of reference, again, of what was happening, what we were doing. Yeah. But I was very aware that being on a UCB stage at that time was actually kind of a big deal, the one on Franklin, because there was a lot of buzz. The improv wars were just kind of starting. Like, they were just, LA improv was probably peaking from 2009 to 2012, right? And I remember being on stage, and Josh Funk used to always talk about, he said, there will be moments when you're improvising where you literally won't have to do anything because you'll see everything that's happening and you'll just be dropping bombs left and right. Yeah. And all of us were on that night. And every single time I stepped out was something. Just huge blow.
Yeah.
Boom, we're done, moving on. And I could not miss. And it was one of those moments where I wasn't trying, I wasn't performing, and I genuinely did not give a fuck what anybody in that room thought. I just was in it. And I went, oh, I'm not performing. I'm not even trying. I'm in such a flow right now. I see everything that's happening. I know what my teammates need from me in this moment. I know what I need to throttle this forward. I know where the wipes are. I saw all of it. And God, it was one of the most exquisite, effortless, razor sharp feelings I've ever had. And I've never been that good since. Ever been that good since. It's all been kind of a moment here, a moment there. But that whole night, that set, it was flawless improv. And the only other second time that probably was near it, I did.
Was when you were doing the German character.
Doing the German character right here a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Dietrich and Callous.
Yeah.
And we were singing great new wave.
Really good
80s
stuff.
new wave.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm prattling on. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm prattling on.
It's cool though. Yeah, we get those flashes where it's like that can't miss mentality. You hope that the longer that you're doing comedy, the more it comes around more and more often.
Sure.
I always say that I have on my best sets that I'm seeing glimpses of the comedian that I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Because
how close do you feel you are to him?
Realistically, I still think I'm another 5 to 7 years out.
Okay. That's an honest assessment.
Yeah.
Honest assessment.
I really love what I'm doing right now. But like each year, I'm like, I look at my like career as a stand-up. I've been doing it over 12 years now. And I'm like, in another 5 years, I think it's going to be like really, really cool.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I'm very happy, like out on the road headlining right now. And the response that I get is always really, really positive, and people are stoked on the show because it's a really good mix of stand-up and improv. But like being realistic, like the huge guys in stand-up, it takes like close to 20 years to really get like, wow.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Like on everything.
Right.
Where every set that you're like, this guy, that kind of response.
Yep.
I get those here and there where people are like, whoa.
Right.
But it's not every single set where people are blown away.
Right.
Bill Burr, one of those guys. Chappelle, Chris Rock. You walk away from their shows being like, these guys are comedy prophets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just another level that like we're all chasing and trying to get towards. So I think that's a very like, 5 to 7 before I'm like really like starting to hit that more consistently.
Right.
And that's that's even probably me being like more competitive realistically than what it actually is. It could be another 10, 15. I have no idea.
No, I get it. I get it. Like, so I left DC in 2003 or four, I think.
Yeah.
And I think 2001 or 2, we went to the DC Improv.
Yeah.
And Todd Glass was performing.
He's a good buddy. I love Todd Glass.
Phenomenal. And afterwards, he's like, so where y'all going afterwards? Because we were all sitting up front and he was riffing with us a lot. And he was like, all right, these guys are kind of cool. And so we all went to one of the bars in Midtown. I'm drawing a blank on Midtown DC on 18th Street. And he was kicking it with us, having a drink. And, you know, we were riffing and we were all having a good time and cracking up. And I remember asking him what it's like being a stand-up and how long he's been doing it and how good he was then. Like, he was effortless then. He was great at what he did. And then I moved out here and I caught a set of a couple guys over at the LA
Hollywood Improv,
the Hollywood Improv, because I used to live right next to it. And he was in the lineup. And I remember watching him comparing this version of him. I think it was probably 14, 15 years later than the first time I saw him. And he had already been doing it for so long back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I just distinctly remember seeing how much more effortless and how his joke per segment or section, the number of jokes he would milk out of one concept and one topic went through the roof. Like, he added like 3 to 4 more jokes per topic than he did then, and he killed back then. So I understand exactly what you're talking about, where it's just time on your feet. It really is. It's a craft like anything else, and it takes work. Some people have a natural gift where it's not that they don't have to work as hard, but it comes to them a little easier. But then for them to level up to the next level, they have to go through something hard to get to that place, right? Chappelle had to go through some shit to get to where he's at now, where he's like a walking comedic philosopher.
Yeah. I'm hoping that he like chills out a little bit on the philosophy side. I love him as a comedian, but I'm like, you're funny. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping he's getting to that level where it's like, please come back a little bit.
Right.
Just a little bit.
Right. No, hey, I know what you're talking about. Look, one of the greatest comedians I've ever seen, who was doing this for decades. I caught Dick Gregory right before he passed.
Oh, wow.
About a year and a half before he passed.
I would have loved seeing him live.
At the Hollywood Improv.
Yeah.
And Dick Gregory completely transcended comedy and was in a philosophical space, but also philosophical wrapped up in truths that the only place he could tell you the truth was in
a comedy
club, because some of the stuff that he was saying would get you killed on the street.
Right.
Because he was talking about alphabet organization level shit. Right. Conspiracy, like high level stuff, like, you probably shouldn't be talking about that.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
And he would weave it into his comedy. And there was times I was like, where is he going with this shit? And I almost told on myself. I had an opportunity to meet him right afterwards because we're fraternity brothers. And we had an exchange. He made me laugh. He hit me on some real shit. Called me a motherfucker a couple times.
He liked it then.
He liked me, I think. Called me motherfucker a couple times, but said some real stuff that made me go, wow, was he telling me a joke or was he telling me something? Was he trying to plant a seed and pass something on?
Yeah, a truth that I need to acknowledge.
I need to acknowledge.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is, like, Carlin got to that same point.
Yep.
I think what happens is the more you hone your comedic slant, especially if you're an observational comedic, the more you're honing your slant and the more you start watching the world, the more you start seeing how this shit really is. And the more you realize, oh, the only way I can talk about some of this stuff is with a punchline, because it's so heavy.
Yeah, it has to be followed up. There has to be some kind of sugar at the end of the medicine.
I gotta let you breathe, because if I don't, I know how. I think the best comedians are sitting there going, "Oh, some of the information that I've learned is breathtaking. It's too much.
Yeah,
it's too much." And so they weave comedy in it just for their own sanity.
Yep.
Because there's some crazy shit going on.
We're gonna close it out now with some Sax Talk.
Sax Talk. Sax Talk is the sex story. Oh, Jesus.
Sax Talk.
What's your jazz name? Do you have a jazz name?
I mean, Jeremiah Watkins is already pretty jazzy.
It is pretty damn jazzy. Jeremiah Watkins. Yes.
Yeah. Zatarans. Remember those ads? Zatarans.
I used to love those ads, man.
I loved them.
Zatarans was so good. It's the best rice in a box I've ever had.
Oh. Way better than rice-a-roni.
Way better.
Not
better.
even a competition.
Full of salt.
Yep.
It's so good.
Yep.
How long you been playing? How many instruments did you play?
I play sax.
Is that a black saxophone?
It's a gunmetal. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It is a cool looking sax.
Did y'all see this? So how many instruments?
Sax. I play chords for piano and guitar. Like,
okay.
You know what I mean? I can't really solo.
Same here.
Yeah. So like sax is the one where I can play. Right. I can play anything by ear by sax.
Oh wow.
Damn. If like I was in a couple different like comedy bands where I'd have to learn covers really quickly, like in a short amount of time, and I would basically write it, and then I'd write out the individual notes so I could play them back. Okay. Like I'd write my own sheet music.
Got it. So you've like really mastered Kenny G.
I mean, the saxophone specialist will still be like, this guy's tone sucks, but it's whatever. I'm a comedian first, sax player second, so I'm like, whatever.
I dig it.
Yeah. So Jason is going to share a story of a sexual encounter, and I'm going to play some sweet, sweet sax along with him.
Yes.
And whenever you're ready, I'll follow you along.
So the year was 2002. I was on a sales trip with the corporation I was working for, Cable and Wireless. We were on the Yucatan Peninsula, Cancun. That's Mexico. I was staying at the Ritz-Carlton or the Marriott. I can't remember. Me and the guys and some of the people we was working with went out into the town for the night to go to one of the clubs. Yeah. I had my usual, a Heineken and a shot of Patron. I was wearing my usual as well. I had on back in that day. I had on a black mesh button up. I was buff and ripped, so I was trying to advertise. Had on some fresh slacks and some flip flops. The night was going as I figured the night would go. I was out dancing, having some drinks, laughing with my friends, and was out on the dance floor kind of dancing to myself. I can't remember what song came on. I think it was something from Prince. I turned around and there was a tap on my shoulder. I turned around and all I saw were legs, hips, tits, and a mane of hair. She was gorgeous. I don't remember her name because she probably didn't give it to me. She had she looked kind of like a lion is the best way I can describe it. She just kind of was golden and beautiful. And I went, why is this woman talking to me? And I figured it had to be the shirt. She asked me what my name was. I told her. She said, asked me where I was staying. I said, I'm staying at the Ritz-Carlton. Or maybe the Marriott. I can't remember. She said, well, why don't you walk me back to the hotel? I said, sure, let's do this. It was my last night there. I figured, live a little. So we walked to the bar at the hotel. We had another drink. And then she said, let's go down to the beach and listen to the waves. I said, yeah, let's do that, baby. We get down there and she said, what do you want to do? I said, what do you think I want to do? She lifts underneath her shirt, snaps her little bra, pulls her shirt off and tosses it to me. And I went, oh, okay, we finna do this. So we started making out. One thing led to another. One item of clothing, then another item of clothing. And the next thing you know, we're both buck naked on a beach. On a beach chair. Underneath one of the little thatch huts. Going for it. And it was great. It was amazing. Because that stuff normally never really happened to me like that. So I just recall having a leg on my shoulder. And both her hands are around my neck. And the loving was real good. And then all of a sudden she screamed at the top of her lungs. I turned around and she covers herself and I look and it was a federale. Basically standing right here, staring at us, doing the grown adult nasty. And I think he said in Spanish, no, y'all can't be here. And me, in my mind, went, dude, get out of here. I'm fucking here. No. But he didn't do it in a kind of way to shoo us along. He did it in a way where he was looking at us lasciviously. And he made us, basically, he wouldn't leave, so we had to stop. He ruined that moment for me. And instead of her going her way and me going my way, we just sat there on the beach, on the chair, watching the sun come up. And then it dawned on me at the very last minute, why didn't we just go back to my room? I had the place to myself. I ruined that moment. Actually, the federale ruined that moment. But it was fun while it lasted. All I know is she was from Minneapolis. That's the story.
Jason, it's been a pleasure to have you on, my friend.
Man, Jeremiah, this is a lot of fun.
Do you want to plug anything before you go?
There's nothing to plug at this point in time. I'm on NDAs for all the video games that I'm under, as well as animated stuff that I'm working with.
That's a good problem to have.
I can't discuss them.
Look out for Jason. Listen out for him on the different video games you play. I'm on tour right now, JeremiahWatkins.com. You can go get tickets. I'm be in Fort Worth, Texas, September 22nd through 24th. We're doing a live stand-up on the spot there. And then every second Tuesday of the month at the Comedy Store is stand-up on the spot. We got La Jolla dates coming up, Huntington Beach, Vegas, all that stuff, JeremiahWatkins.com. Thank you, bro, so much for coming on.
Hey, man, thank you for having me over. I really appreciate it. Dude. I hope you had a lot of fun. I know I did. It was a blast.
I think the listeners and the viewers had a lot of fun with us, too.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you guys. You can shout me out online.
What's your Instagram?
At JasonKelley with the EY.JK and _JK on Twitter.
Awesome. Reach out to him. Send him some good, positive vibes and some love. Thanks, bro.
Thanks, man.